Hello, choir. Great job with Sunday's anthem, I Am So Happy. Were you surprised by the dancing scarecrows? Andy and Matt, you see, were just begging to be in another virtual choir video, so I had to find a way to fit them in. And dancing scarecrows seemed like the perfect solution. But seriously, it's sure nice to have pastors with a good sense of humor. And most importantly, our church family really enjoyed the fun and uplifting message and music of the anthem. Now it's time to change gears. Our anthem this Sunday, Thanks Be to God, is a slower, flowing work with long, expansive melodies. And it's a beautiful way for us to inspire our church family and ourselves to give thanks to our gracious and loving God. Here are my musical notes for this anthem. Phrasing and breathing. There is long phrasing in this piece. Most phrases are 4 measures followed by a quarter rest for breath. Let's look at the first page. Look right here. So you have, there is a hand whose touch creates all beauty. You can see I drew an arrow right there, okay? Which means you sing through that all the way to the end. And then after that half note, you get a quarter rest breath. Now this pattern continues very much through the piece. That's just the way this is designed. But I checked with several of our choir members, and we decided to sing the 4 measure phrases in one breath. Okay, so we're going to sing through that according to that arrow I wrote. Also, our accompaniment is slightly faster than the demo recording, so this should help everyone succeed in singing the whole phrase in one breath. Okay? Now this makes breath marks easy. Breaths are to be taken on the rests. And there are some other places in the refrain sections where the phrases are shorter. But for the most part, we have these long phrases, okay? Now, if you're running out of breath during these phrases, remember to do the following. And I'm just going to remind you, I often do this, but we're not meeting as we normally do. So remember to breathe in the middle of the word. Don't finish the word early before everyone else. It will stick out. So it's not natural to breathe in the middle of the word, but do your best. You know, sing like Father, Father, or Father. Let the people take care of the TH or the ending of the word or something like that. Okay, to help you with these long phrases, I suggest this, humming, okay? I want you to consider humming verses 1 and verses 2, okay, and the chorus as a good warm-up. Humming sets up a condition in your mouth where you can feel your resonance better, and biologically and physically, your vocal cords vibrate more easily when you're humming and less air leaks out. And you're less inclined to squeeze your cords together, okay? So it's a real beneficial exercise. So you can hum, but you can also use like a coffee stirring straw. Let me talk to you about humming, okay? Hum as if you're gently holding a small egg in your mouth. And then you wrap your lips around it. So you're not doing it too much. Just lower your jaw a bit, like you're comfortably fitting a small egg in there, or small something. Okay. Close your lips to create the hum, and I've just given you an example. You can also use the straw. There are speech pathologists and vocologists that will use straws for vocal therapy, believe it or not. It does a similar thing to a hum, but even more so, okay? So I guarantee if you're having a hard time singing these long phrases in one breath, and you spend 2 or 3 minutes or maybe even 5 minutes humming through the song, you will find improvement. You'll find your your voice lasting longer and your breath being utilized better. Okay? All right, let's talk about form. There's only one repeat in this piece, and it's from verse 1 to verse 2. Let me show you that. And that's on the second page right here. Okay, you can see the first ending at the bottom of the second page. You sing down to here, and then you give thanks and go back to the top of the first page right here. There are the repeat signs, okay? At measure 5, that's where verse 2 starts, okay? So that's pretty straightforward. And then when you finish verse 2, you can see the second ending down here, okay? So remember, when you're finishing verse 2 right here, you have to skip down to the second ending, and then there comes the key change to D flat major. All right? Now, the variations in this song are unusual, okay? Verse 1 starts in parts. Everybody sings the parts as written. As you can see right here, it says verse 1, all. So on verse 1, everybody's singing the music that's written, okay? But look at verse 2. This is where it gets interesting. Verse 2, the women start and they sing the melody, okay? And they sing about 4 measures, and then the men take over right here. And men sing the melody, okay? Now we have to make sure we catch that. On verse 2, men sing the melody, those near and far, whose lines define our flow. And then when we get down here, it just says the second time, all of our voices come together when we get to this. And praise God's goodness past all comprehension. We finish verse 2 singing in parts. So quite simply, the beginning of verse 2, the women sing. And then the men take over singing the melody. They both sing, women sing the melody, first 4 measures are verse 2. Then the men sing the melody, the second 4 measures are verse 2. And then everybody joins back into parts as written. Okay? So that's pretty straightforward. And then, of course, you take the second ending at the bottom of page 2, which I just described. Okay, dynamics. Verses 1 and verses 2 follow the same pattern. Okay, verse medley is mezzo piano, and the refrain melody is mezzo forte. That's pretty predictable, and I circled those dynamic levels. But verse 3 starts mezzo forte. Okay, but this increase in dynamic level also happens because we'll be singing unison at verse 3. Let me get that real fast. So here's verse 3. You can see the increase to mezzo forte, and I put unison there to remind everybody we're singing unison and to sing through those long phrases. And then we get back down here and we go back into parts very quickly, okay? And then we go to forte when we get to what kind of resembles the chorus. Thanks be to God. That's forte, okay? So let me see what else I have here. That's it for dynamics. Verses 1 and 2, verse melody is mezzo piano, the refrain is mezzo forte. Verse 3 starts out mezzo forte and increases to forte when we get to the chorus. Okay, and it keeps that intensity really all the way until the end of the piece. Okay, but when we approach the end of the piece, we gradually taper off in dynamic level. So this would be a forte up here, and then we back off to mezzo forte, back off to mezzo piano, and we finish the piece in mezzo piano. Oh, and I put a note there, smile. Really smile, don't just show your teeth. Okay. Video. Videos are looking great. Y'all are getting very, very good at this. I appreciate the lighting. There's a couple of you that might have some better lighting. Try to explore that. If you have questions, let me know. You know, trying to get everybody to be the same distance from the camera. 2 to 3 feet. Sometimes I see people like 5 or 6 or 7 feet away. We want all of our voices to be the same distance from the recording device, so I have something equal to work with, okay? But you all are doing a great job really, really, really good. And I'm so proud of all of you for your willingness to, as I've said before, try these new things and to master these things. And you really have. You've gotten predictably good and successful at it. So enjoy recording this anthem. The phrasing will ask all of us to invest ourselves a little bit more musically and physically, but the beauty of this piece is really, really worth it. Our church family is going to really enjoy our musical anthem this Sunday.
Whose righteous way